But next up, we're going to see the Russians against the Koreans. We're going to see Drone Sports against Supersonic X. We will get all them loaded up into the lobby and get racing between them. This has been a matchup that in previous years, you'd always favour Supersonic X, I think, Martin.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. But Drone Sports, you know, they, as we mentioned earlier, they made quite a lot of changes in the season break. They brought in some great new talent. So I don't know. I don't think this is going to be an easy race to score a lot of points for Supersonic X, to be honest.
Interesting. Well, when they raced off in Proptown, it was 25-15 for Supersonic X, but there's a change on their sides. I remember Supersonic X brought in Angel Rivera. He's racing for them now instead of Don Wook Han. To be fair, Don Wook Han was a little bit of an underperformer whenever he's seen him racing in the DCL. Good competitor, but not scoring as many points as his teammates were.
It seems like we have a great Min Jae Kim today. You know, as we saw his extremely dominant performance against X-Blades, and also in practice, he's one of the few pilots who clocked a 50-second practice run. The fastest pilot out of Drone Sports Global is Merchimac with a 51-second, although it's only 2/10 of a second slower. But Min Jae, he's feeling well.
He's on form, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yep,
yeah.
And he does. We know so many of our pilots, you know, grind so many hours. They don't get to see these tracks for very long before racing on those. You, of course, may well have explored Reutte a lot yourself in DCL, the game, as you can fly around the location and the tracks that previously existed, but these ones nobody had seen before this weekend. Let's take a look at who's going to start this scrap between Drone Sports and Supersonic X. Our first pairings will be Kirill Fedokovich, captain of Drone Sports, with Dimo Shtarev. And he's going to race against Min Jae Kim. They are going to race, I'm sorry, against Min Jae Kim and Angel Rivera. So a little bit of a rearrangement here in the last heat when Supersonic X took on X-Blades. They had Min Jae Kim and Jordy Peak together. Now they got Min Jae Kim and Angel Rivera alongside each other. You can nominate these pairings, as I said before, per team that you're racing against without knowing who they're racing against you. So Kim and Rivera didn't know it was Fedokovich and Shtarev they were going to be racing against when they faced Drone Sports, and vice versa, obviously. Drone Sports and Supersonic X. Supersonic X, good start earlier on today as well, of course, with their 19 points they got against X-Blades. Very close battle between them. Drone Sports got 19 points when they raced against China Dragons. So these two teams were the losers of their first matches today, but by the smallest of margins. So, yeah, points are plenty between them. This is going to be very important to see who can get the lion's share of this. We'll go racing. Fedokovich and Shtarev, Kim and Rivera. And that is a great start for the Russians, although there is only a 10th of a second between everybody, but the start was the red teams. Not anymore. Kim, Rivera through the rainbow flip, Fedokovich, Terech not too far behind him. Here's AJ's view, his teammate in front, and the Russians not far behind him. 360 that one, split S this one, it's nice and tight. And they pull a 10th away from Kirill. There's the first of the hoops, and there's second and third. That's not the fastest I've seen anybody take those, because there is an extremely narrow way of doing them both. But that was good work. And Rivera's, in fact, got in front of his teammate Min Jae, but there's now 5 seconds between the purple drones and the red ones. Bad news for Drone Sports. Here's Theo's view. He picked up both wins in his 2 races earlier on today. I think he would quite like to take another one, so he's going to fight Rivera, his teammate, for it. Of course, in real life, this is where team owners like HJ Sun would have kittens about whether their drones are going to crash into each other, but it's a little bit safer in this virtual drone racing. Kim's got another one. Rivera's got a second place. Fedokovich comes in third, Shtarev behind that.
Yes, I may have to take those words back. Such a dominant performance by Supersonic X, unbelievable. Both Min Jae and Rivera were flying really well. Fedokovich was tailing them in the first lap, but he completely missed the double ring section. I don't know if he could show it. Min Jae Kim also, he got into a little bit of trouble there, but he completely missed it. He had to turn around, go back through it. Yeah, massive victory here by Kim and Rivera.
We're expecting some of these tracks to come down to, technical skill of pilots, but also not making mistakes, aren't we?
Exactly.
We'll go up. Ooh, that's a strong start. I thought one of the drones got left behind on the blocks. If there's ever a full start, by the way, in case you're wondering, we will know. It will get flagged up in game, and that pilot will get a 1 second penalty of no throttle before they can start the race. So that is obviously quite damaging when you're in races as fast as this. Kim and Rivera ahead of Sterev and Fedikovic, which Sterev nailed that turn and has took a chunk of that deficit out. We're on board with Fedikovic, who's passed him. Oh, that's bad though. Kirill's hit that hard. And in a 2-lap race, you haven't got a lot of time to change your fortunes there. Meanwhile, Rivera and Kim are rainbow flipping. I know you like that, Faisal. Through the iconic 360, split S-ing it. It's AJ behind Minjae Kim again. Is he going to get 4 wins out of 4? You would know that he is one of the best pilots capable of doing so. The double ring's not a problem. Kim's still in front of Rivera, and you see how well Rivera is flying, so you know Kim must have nailed it. Great work, and a big gap between the two teams.
Another big gap, yes. Yes, to be honest, I wasn't expecting so many pilots to struggle on this map. Although the rainbow flip is like a completely new element, you know, that's not something you encounter every day. But I was expecting the pilots to have less of an issue with it than they actually do. Minjae Kim, very, very dominant performance again by him. Clocking a 52. I think that was the first time we've seen a 52-second race today. So very fast.
Wow. So one of the best times, maybe the best time of today. I like it. That's Minjae getting another 8 points onto his record. I think he's got 24 points now. Yeah, he's got all the wins that he can have done. No, 16 points. 16 points. 4 wins out of 4. 4 points for each of them. Great showing from him. As always, by that, a brilliant young role model of the sport. Their teammates are going to come in now, and if you're drone sports, you're going to be a little bit worried because you're not so much facing Supersonic X as 2 of the very best pilots of the runners-up at the World Championships last year when they were racing for Apex. It's Andreas Klein and Jordy Peak on the pink side of this for Supersonic X. Juho Pulkkanen and Atakan Malgamek are going to race in red for the Russian team in drone sports. These two didn't face off against Supersonic X together last time. They were split across the 2 pairings. Kim and Peak, great pilots. Klein, like, never ever write him out of this. I would say that Angel Rivera's got a lot that he can learn from the 3 pilots he's racing with.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. Klein and Murchimek were 0.5 of a second apart in practice in favor of Murchimek.
Okay. See what Malgamek's got out of the box here. He's got to make it count. Got to start clawing some points back as they're 6-14 down. Peaks at front, Pulkkanen is in second. Third, maybe with Klein. Malgamek, the one who we were praising a little bit. 3 seconds behind, 2.5 seconds behind. First lap here through the iconic pairing on board with Andreas, who's got Peak. Teammate you know so well. Of course, they didn't race all of last season together on Apex. Peak joined a little bit later than Andreas did, but made such an impact, and Peak is now the captain. Peak's in front of him. Around the walls, Andreas a little bit lower, a little bit more direct perhaps. It's 0.3 per second between these 2 teammates. 360 the iconic, with still 2 seconds of gap. Actually, Murchkamek's gap is coming and going like he's doing some bits brilliantly fast and then some bits way behind. Into the kicker, let's take a look at how Duty Pooty does it. You can see it's so much more problematic, which is why he's a long way behind in the finish of that one. Real got a lot of a problem there, Martijn.
Yeah, Murchimek had a crazy race as well. Not the best start here, clipping the ring gate, but he was fighting his way back in great fashion. Andreas Klein here, absolutely going so smooth through that section. And Jordy Peak here in the second lap, he got stuck at the double ring section, and that's how Murchimek was able to overtake him and take a second place.
So this is a guaranteed win in this matchup for Supersonic X now, as Drone Sports can only get a maximum of 7 points out of this final race, and you have to say, not looking likely they're going to get all of those 7s.
I don't think so. No.
Argument
Last
and
race
Cannon.
is coming up.
Yep. Now, Malgamet did get a win when they raced in Proptown and he was alongside Sterev. Malgamet beat Minjae Kim and Jordy Peak, no less, when they were racing together. So he has had the better of Peak before, but Peak seems to be in form on this track. That's nice and flat through that first ring for everybody. Less than half a second from top to bottom, and that gap is closed. Pulkanen moved up a little bit there. Into the rainbow flip. That's all right. Yuti Puti, we're on board with him as we'll see how he takes on the 360 of the Iconic. It's not a bad exit of that. It's not a bad split S. Nice and tight on the exit of that. Good through the slalom and into the kicker, but it looks like everybody else is being equally good. Through the two rings and attacking. It's good work from him. He's got Klein just in front of him. Meanwhile, ahead of them, though, Pulkanen, Peak. Not much between them. Pulkanen now in the lead. I think we're having a little bit of a timing issue here. There's Jordy Peak. There's Andreas. And he has got past Pulkanen now. Yep, and there's not much of this race left to go. But Klein coming in a little bit more of a wider angle, to be honest. Had more view of those rings, but it cost him. He hit them and Pulkanen got past him.
A lot of overtaking going on in the very last lap. Not the cleanest race I've seen out of all the pilots. Jordy Peak was able to clock a 53-second race, but Andreas Klein, we saw him clip the side of the ring gate over there. He also hit the DCL gate that hung on the side of the wall, or still hangs there, I hope. Jordy Peak, was able to win. And Andreas Klein, third place. So overall, even the last race turned out quite well for Supersonic X.